Health officials have been urging New Yorkers to stay inside this week because of poor air quality from the wildfires burning in Quebec. But some people are not taking the advice. Despite the smoke, hikers and campers have still been heading into the Adirondacks. Hear more about those hikers on this edition of Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day is provided by CCOM Credit Union, serving the financial needs of people throughout northern New York and Vermont. In person, online at ccom.org, and on your smartphone.
Hi, I'm Lucy Grindon, filling in for David Summerstein. It's Thursday, June 8th. First up, more than 5,000 people per day are expected to attend an event for tractor enthusiasts in the St. Lawrence County town of Madrid this weekend. It's called the Gathering of the Orange. Some of the actual tractors on show will be more than 100 years old. One tractor is being shipped all the way from Germany, according to the Watertown Daily Times. The event will have tractor parades, live music, and lots of food. The St. Lawrence Power and Equipment Museum is hosting. State health officials have been telling people to limit their outdoor activity this week. Smoke from Canadian wildfires has led to unhealthy air conditions all around New York State. Still, some hikers have been climbing and camping in the Adirondacks all week. Emily Russell went to the Adirondack Loj yesterday. It's the most popular trailhead in the park. She spoke with Wade Bastian from the Adirondack Mountain Club about what he's seen and heard from hikers this week.
So, Wade, since the smoky conditions started here, I guess the start of this week,
Yep.
What have you been seeing in terms of people coming through to hike in the high peaks from the lodge?
There's definitely a lot of questions about what's happening. People are showing up kind of expecting like sunny days, and all of a sudden they can't see the views at the end of Lodge Road or anything like that. So there's a bit of confusion and people just wondering like what is happening and if it's normal, which, I mean, it definitely isn't. So they're wondering like what precautions they should be taking while they're getting ready for their trips in the woods, either for a single day or out overnight.
Yeah. And what are you telling them? Because, I mean, it's not super safe to be breathing this air, especially if you're vulnerable in any way.
Yeah, so we're advising folks that, it's not really a safe time to be out in the woods, especially if you have some kind of problem breathing or underlying medical issues. So if folks are that concerned, we're asking them to maybe postpone their trips. Earlier this week, it would have been Tuesday. It was really bad. It's getting a little better right now as far as the smoke is concerned, but like just west of us into Tupper Lake, the conditions start getting a lot worse. So we're telling people who are thinking about coming this weekend to just keep abreast with all of the conditions, because if the winds change or if we don't get the rain that we're supposed to get, then it could just get worse.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of shocked. So we're sitting here by the parking lot and it looks like almost half full. I mean, there's got to be dozens of people in the woods right now. Does that surprise you that people are still coming and spending hours, if not days, in the woods?
Yeah, it's not surprising at all. People come out in any conditions and every condition. Yesterday, there were thunderstorms forecast, and after folks were told that, they were still planning on going above tree line. Like, people go out in all sorts of hazardous conditions because they still want to hike. So it's not surprising. And yeah, midweek, this is probably pretty standard as far as, how many people are out there. And yeah, so it's not super surprising. And yeah, we're just telling people to play it easy, keep it safe, and if they start feeling any kind of lightheadedness or sick in any way, then it's probably time to turn around and come out.
Have people who have been coming off a mountain said anything about how smoky it is, or just how they've been feeling differently? Have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, a couple of people have been saying that they haven't been feeling great. There were a couple of courses here at the Heart Lake Program Center earlier this week that had a lot of people outside, and they've been reporting not feeling well after being outside most of the day. And there are some staff here that live in tents. They live outside most of the day, and they're not feeling super great. So yeah, there's definitely some issues that are going on being in the air so much. I mean, hopefully it's getting better. It seems like it's not as bad currently, but those conditions could change.
Mm-hmm. So for folks who have never been into the Adirondacks before, just don't go out hiking all that much, like from your experience, what is the air here normally like, and how is it different right now?
Normally it's super clean. I mean, that's one of the big things about the Adirondacks. One of the great ties to history is that the air is so clean that people would come up here to help with their tuberculosis. So it's normally not this smoky at all. I think in 2020 there were wildfires out west that were affecting the air conditions, but it was nowhere close to what it's like right now. So this is definitely out of the ordinary for this area. Something we're not really that accustomed to dealing with or experiencing, but it's, I guess, becoming more and more common. I used to live out west, and that was something that I dealt with a lot out there. So it's just something that different parts of the country are now experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Any advice for people who are planning on coming up to the high peaks and hiking here this weekend?
Keep an eye out on the air quality conditions. There are a couple of interactive maps that you can look at online to see what the air quality is like. Things could change. Hopefully the rain comes and that helps a little bit. But if at all possible, it might be worth thinking about postponing a trip or going somewhere else for the time being, although the whole Northeast doesn't seem to be too great right now. So hopefully things change for the better soon, but keeping an eye out on the information is usually the best thing to do in most scenarios.
That was Wade Bastian from the Adirondack Mountain Club, speaking with Emily Russell. A conservation group in the Adirondacks has bought nearly 140 acres of land to preserve public access in the high peaks. The Adirondack Land Trust purchased the plot for $300,000. The land includes about a mile of trail that leads up to some popular summits in Keene Valley, including Rooster Combe and the Wolf Jaws. The land had been owned by the same family since the late 1800s. The Adirondack Land Trust says it plans to transfer ownership of the parcel, plus 25 adjoining acres, to New York State to add it to the forest preserve. More news is available all the time at ncpr.org. Today's music was by I Am Snow Angel of Lake Placid and Dan Duggan of Lake Clear. I'm Lucy Grindon, North Country Public Radio.